Hey, it's Nikki Llewellyn-Gregory, and you're on Gut Plus Science. You're in for a fast-paced, storytelling, action item-rich leadership growth experience. I hope you make this podcast a habit. I consider it a leadership mentoring tool. Learning together makes us better together, and that is how we change the world around us. Let's get to it. Hey, Gut Plus Science listeners, it's Nikki, and today's episode is a special series with my friend Renee Smith. It's called To Work with Love. I believe that loving leaders transform workplaces and create work experiences that are meaning-filled. Renee fights against fear-based leadership and helps us learn how to lead with love and do it in such an empowering way. You're going to love this episode. Renee, take it away.
Hi, this is Renee from A Human Workplace, the host of To Work with Love. This is the podcast series that makes the case for being a loving leader and putting love at the center of work. I'm a social scientist, and in 7 years of research interviews, I've discovered how a more loving and human workplace is better for people, for teams, and for results too. I've seen how love, the energy that uplifts and connects, belongs not only in our personal lives and communities, but in our professional lives too. In this podcast series, we discover the nuances and benefits of loving leadership. We explore loving ourselves, loving our team members, and embedding love in our organizations and systems. All this ripples love to families and communities. And if that's the impact you want to have in the world, then join me to work with love. Hey there, loving leaders. You know, I've been on a quest for the last 6 months to put more love at the center of my own life because I have discovered how I have neglected myself in a bunch of ways, and maybe you can relate to that too. And, you know, one can only do that for so long before the wear and tear takes its toll. I'd gotten pretty weary and frazzled and lost touch with who I am and what my heart is here to do. I know that if I'm going to be a loving leader, it has to begin with loving myself, with honoring my own life and my hopes and dreams, with respecting my needs and limits too. So in the last episode of To Work with Love, I described making some choices to radically change how I'm spending my time and energy. I took a hard look at my life and choices and chose differently. I chose to create, among other things, more spaciousness. And let me tell you, this has been amazing. I am marveling at the difference it has made in my soul, frankly, at the peace that I have and the relief that this has been. And it might be counterintuitive, but it's also helped me to actually be more productive and effective. What I'm focused on feels now kind of effortless and natural rather than a grind. I feel like with room to think and be, I'm tapping into new abilities to create, and this is frankly just life-giving and joyful rather than being soul-sucking and dreary. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always loved what I do, but, you know, when it's just piled on and too intense and there's no spaciousness, it's just not enjoyable anymore. And so, what I've realized is, of course, I'm, benefiting from all of this, and that this is the experience that I want for my team members too. I want them to be working at the pace they want, at a pace that's healthy and life-giving. I want them able to focus as much as possible on what gives them joy and meaning. And so this shift for me is re-inspiring my commitment to be sure that they're experiencing this too, in the way that is right for them. After all, that's loving leadership, isn't it? To support team members to find mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy, spacious ways of working. So now, as I'm basking in this spaciousness, a question occurred to me. It's a funny question, but I'm going to share it with you. Here it is. Once we create spaciousness, what do we do with it? Now, this is a funny question because the obvious answer might be to not do anything with it. The point of spaciousness might be to do nothing, to have empty space. And that's true. But what I know about myself is that if I'm not intentional about this spaciousness, then overwhelm and busyness is going to creep back in. I'll lose all this glorious spaciousness. Now, this is probably because I'm plagued with the sickness of busyness that's common in Western society. It might also be the result of having raised 4 children or being a straight-A student getting accolades for performing for most of my life. Whatever the source, though, maybe you relate to that, but whatever the source of all of this, I'm pretty task-oriented and driven to do more. So what I know is that if this spaciousness is going to become a way of life, I have to intentionally fill it with something else, something that will help maintain that spaciousness. So here's a revised version of my funny question. Once we create spaciousness, how do we maintain it? What do we do with it? And the answer that I have for today is the one thing that we can do with it is fill it with awe. A-W-E, awe. We can fill our spaciousness with awe. Now, I've been interested in awe and have been exploring awe since about 2017 when I first learned about the science of awe. I've followed the work of Dacher Keltner and Jonathan Haidt and others, and today I want to share a little bit about my experiences with awe and what I've learned from them and how intentional awe can help us maintain spaciousness and bring more love to our lives and leadership in the process. Now, in his book, in Dacher Keltner's book titled Awe, he advocates that if you want to live a good life, if you want a life marked by joy and community and meaning, if you want to find happiness, then he says, find awe. He explains that awe is this emotion that we have when we're in the presence of something that's vast, something that transcends our current understanding of the world. Keltner and his collaborator, Professor Yang Bai, documented 8 kinds of awe through thousands of stories that they collected from people around the world from different backgrounds and worldviews. And they identified these sources of awe. They call them the 8 wonders of life. I'm going to just share them with you briefly, and I want you to listen and see which of these that you connect to. So the first, we experience awe from moral beauty when we encounter other people's courage or kindness, or when we witness their virtue or strength, when we see their ability to overcome an obstacle or hardship. That's moral beauty. We experience awe from what they call collective effervescence. I love that word, effervescence. It's a word that sounds like just what it means, right? That collective effervescence is tapping into this connected life energy of a group. We experience awe from nature, whether it's the powerful forces of weather or amazing geology or animal life or trees or flowers, maybe patterns in nature, or even the physical feelings we get from being in the natural world. We experience awe from music and all of its various styles and venues and contexts. These all move our state of being from one place to another. We experience awe in visual design when we encounter art or architecture in the built environment that has such complexity or creativity or size or mastery. We experience awe in spiritual and religious practices that are uplifting, mystical, and sacred. We experience awe when in the face of life and death, whether it's the birth of a child, the encounter with the fragility of life, or at the point of death when someone transitions to a new state of being. And finally, we experience awe when we have an epiphany, which according to Keltner is when we suddenly understand an essential truth about life. This could be profoundly personal, or it could be universal. But these experiences shift forever how we see the world. So these are the array of awe experiences that they cataloged. And I want to invite you now just to pause and recall a time when you felt the emotion of awe. Maybe it was something recent or something that comes to mind from long ago. But what happened? Think about that experience. What happened? Think about what you felt and perhaps how it impacted you. Which kind of awe was it? These are great things to journal about, to connect to the awe in your life, to take that question and answer it as many times as you can. You can do that exercise one time, or another thing you can do is to keep an awe journal. This is sort of similar to a gratitude journal where you can make a habit of tracking your moments of awe each day. So for me, my awe journal includes watching my dahlias burst into bloom in our garden this summer. It includes witnessing my daughter's transformation as a mother, listening to the rain on the moss-covered trees in the rainforest of the Olympic National Park. It includes watching my grandson play in the ocean for the first time a few weeks ago. An awe experience for me was seeing the colorful light pouring through the windows of La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona and actually bursting into tears because it was so beautiful. And I can even feel that kind of in my chest and throat right now as I say it. It was so profound. And it includes observing the gentle kindness of one stranger to another in public. So, what's all this have to do with loving leadership and love in our workplaces? Well, researchers have discovered that awe is a powerful and positive human experience that can bring us a ton of super important benefits that we need at work. I think this is why Keltner says, if you want to live a good life, find awe. So here's what researchers have discovered. These awe-inspiring experiences bring on more critical thinking, improved creativity, improved health. They connect us to others. They foster greater kindness and self-sacrifice and encourage more cooperation and resource sharing. Now, I just want you to consider that list again in light of loving leadership and a more loving human workplace. Consider being able to contribute your best thinking and creativity at work, experiencing well-being and health at work, having positive relationships and a sense of belonging at work, experiencing kindness or going the extra mile for a colleague at work, collaborating well with your team, sharing resources, whether it's opportunities or information or tools or space at work. All these are important, positive, caring human work experiences, and all are supported by experiencing the emotion of awe. Now, when I first learned about awe, I wondered, okay, so if all this awe is so helpful and it enhances a loving workplace, then gosh, do we have to wait around for it to sort of randomly hit us, or can we find it when we need it? Because I think we need it when we need it, like on a Thursday afternoon at 2:00 when we're going into that meeting, right? That's when I need to have the benefits of awe. So I set out to explore awe with groups, and I've led numerous workshops and gatherings to understand and intentionally practice awe and experience its benefits. And over again, we've demonstrated in these groups that yes, in fact, we can seek out awe and find it when we want it. We can leverage awe when we need it. We can seek awe to prepare for challenges or get creative or solve problems. And we can turn to awe when we're feeling cranky and unsocial, but need to engage with others and get to collaborating. We can choose to find awe. And we can encourage our teams to practice awe too, for all these same reasons. This is what we did at a gathering recently that I hosted here in Tacoma with my colleague and friend, Emily Grants. This was an event sponsored by the Center for a Loving Workplace, which is a nonprofit I co-founded last year with Lily Buenova-Hugh. We gathered in Tacoma's Wright Park on a glorious summer day to connect and build relationships with new people and explore the science of awe. First, we invited folks to reflect on past experiences of awe, and then we taught a little bit about the science of awe, and then we sent them out in pairs and trios to seek awe in the park. And people discovered awe in nature and awe in the environment around them, awe in the buildings, and most of all, awe in each other, in each other's stories and presence. And those folks who participated left inspired by awe. Many were determined to bring more awe to their teams. In fact, one participant, an executive director of a nonprofit, said this: "The gathering was a beautiful experience. I've already started incorporating some awe-inspiring moments into my workday, and I'm encouraging my team to do the same. It's been a transformative experience, and I'm excited to see how it will impact our workplace culture." A great big yes to her for her efforts to bring awe to her work and her team. And yes, we can intentionally seek and find awe, which means we can intentionally set out to find and experience awe to fill the mental, emotional, and physical spaciousness that we've created. And from that awe and spaciousness, we can grow happier, more effective, and more loving at work, being present to our own lives, being present to others, and encouraging others on our team to do this too. This is practicing loving leadership. In these times of distress and uncertainty, it also seems important to say that no matter your political affiliation or where you live or your job or belief system, we could all benefit from increasing our impulses for generosity and connection, kindness and cooperation. We need those experiences in our interactions with others, and we need to bring them, these qualities, our best selves, to our work and to our world. So as we create spaciousness, fill some of that with awe. Find moral beauty, nature, music, visual design, spiritual uplift, connection to community. Ponder life and death. consider your epiphanies. Be awed by the love that you see and experience, by the love that you create at home, in your community, and yes, at work, because it's time to work with love. Thank you for listening today. If this episode was helpful to you, please let us know. I would love to hear from you. You can email me at renee@makeworkmorehuman.com or connect with me on LinkedIn at Renee Smith-A Human Workplace. And please share this episode with a colleague and give us a shout out on social media, and together we can amplify this message to put love at the center of work. You can find previous episodes in this series or learn more about how to create a more loving workplace at our website at makeworkmorehuman.com. Until next time, trust your instincts to be loving and human, because it's time to work with love.
We just left the world a little bit better. Now, go do something with it.